Hello, hello. Welcome to Perky the Political Penguin. Political Penguin. They're discussing topics a little sensitive, so I'm going to give a trigger warning. And I want everyone to understand this is not a topic that minors should be getting into. So I'm hoping that. Let me change the way the eyes are. There. So I'm going to do that so that way. There we go. All right, I had to change my settings so that way it wouldn't look like my penguin was high. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get into a discussion about should we legalize cannabis and psychedelic mushrooms for mental health. So, for decades, we've been taught to fear substances like cannabis and psychedelic mushrooms. They have been labeled dangerous, irresponsible, or morally wrong. But today, science is telling a very different story, one that can no longer ignore. We are in the middle of a mental health crisis. Depression, anxiety, PTSD, addiction, and suicide rates are rising across the world. Millions of people are suffering, and for many of them, traditional statements simply don't work. Treatments don't work. So, prescription medications often come with harsh side effects, long dependency, and limited effectiveness. Therapy is definitely helpful, but not always accessible or enough on its own. So, cannabis and psychedelic mushrooms offer a new and, in many cases, more effective path forward. Cannabis has already shown its medical value. It's used to reduce anxiety, manage chronic pain, improve sleep, and ease symptoms of PTSD, and help patients cope with trauma. Unlike many pharmaceutical drugs, cannabis has a far lower risk of fatal overdose and is often better tolerated by patients. For many people, it allows them to function, work, and live with dignity when other medications do fail. Psychedelic mushrooms, specifically those containing psilocybin, are even more groundbreaking. Clinical studies from respected institutions have shown that psilocybin can significantly reduce symptoms of depression, anxiety, PTSD, and, interesting enough, addiction. Sometimes after just one or two guided sessions, in some cases, patients with experience long-lasting relief that traditional antidepressants failed to provide after years of use. What makes psilocybin different is that it doesn't just mask symptoms. It helps people confront trauma, break destructive thought patterns, and reconnect themselves in meaningful ways. Patients often report increased emotional clarity, reduced fear, and a renewed sense of purpose. Legalization doesn't mean reckless use. It means regulation, safety, and access to proper medical guidance. When substances are illegal, people use them in unsafe environments without education nor support. Legalization allows for controlled dosing, professional supervision, and quality control, and honest conversations between patients and doctors. And I feel like that alone is one reason to help legalize things, because when we can't have honest conversations about things like this, I feel like we're causing more harm than good. So, trying to figure out what the best layout is so that way mobile can see the penguin just fine. All right, well, can only do so much to make it so the penguin is centered for both. And I do apologize for that. So, all right, I'm trying to make it so everyone can kind of see. Anyhow, and here's the thing, I have PTSD, depression, and anxiety. And part of that, I also have insomnia. And it's interesting that I have been on many different prescribed medications that don't seem to help. But yet, cannabis in the form of edibles, because I don't smoke it necessarily, I actually use it in the form of edibles, have seemed to help my anxiety and my sleep depending on the strain that I take. It also seems to make it so I can focus more clearly and make it so that way, since I'm in college, kind of do the schoolwork that I need to do and push through. I kind of feel like this is a subject that a lot of people need to have and need to start having with one another. So, in fact, I'm going to share this stream real fast on X. So that's what we're going to end up doing real quick. So I'm going to share this stream. So I'm going to view my channel and then view it or share it on X. So I think that needs to be done. So that way we can bridge this even better. Okay. Oh my God, where I'm sitting is absolutely cold. By the way, it's going to be in the negative 20s tomorrow. So I'm trying to get all this done so I don't have to sit next to my window. I don't want to sit next to the window tomorrow. I really don't. So I'm going to share this one, I think. And I know that I have... All right, I'm going to go on X and share this. And that way we can open up more discussions and make it so people come in and talk and give their opinion. I just ask that people keep it respectful because no matter how you feel, everyone's going to have different opinions. And I don't mind different opinions, but I do want to keep things respectful here. Okay, so I'm going to share this and then let's keep it pushing. So there we go. And then we're going to get back on topic. So I'm going to, well, probably leave X there. Probably just exit out of my channel so my internet doesn't crash because it is probably going to if I don't do that. Okay, so here is what's interesting. What makes, I already covered what makes psilocybin different. It makes people confront trauma, break destructive thought patterns, and reconnect themselves to meaningful ways. Legalization doesn't mean reckless use. And I think we need to put a point in saying that reckless use is not what I support. Reckless use where it creates dangers is just like alcohol, where you need to kind of be careful with it, right? It needs to be regulated. That I do think. It also reduces harm. Criminalizing these substances has filled prisons, ruined lives, and disproportionately harmed marginalized communities without stopping use or addiction. Legalization shifts the focus from punishment into healing. We must ask ourselves a serious question. If a substance can reduce suffering, save lives, and help people heal, why are we still banning this? Mental health treatment should be based on evidence, compassion, and results, not stigma or outdated fear. Cannabis and psychedelic mushrooms are not a cure-all, definitely not the whole answer, but they are powerful tools which we should be willing to use responsibly. Legalizing them for medical purposes isn't radical, ignoring the evidence is. If we truly care about mental health, then it's time to move beyond fear, listen to science, and give people access to treatments that could change or even save their lives. So, on this note, how do you know anyone in your own life that is affected personally by PTSD, insomnia, anxiety, or depression? Because if you do, it is more likely that some of these substances can help them. I mean, every day people are prescribed benzos and stuff like that. And in all reality, that's a very dangerous. They're very dangerous too. So let me go on to. I have to respond to a comment. Okay. I'm going to respond to a comment real fast that I just got. So we're going to, you know what, I'm going to share something while I can. So to give you guys a small something to watch and think about, and we can discuss it. All right. So I'm going to pull up YouTube, and we're going to, while I comment, we are going to have you guys watch. So give me a second. I'm going to put up a that I want you all to watch. And I do appreciate your guys' patience. So, you know what? We're going to go back. I want to find. Let's see here. We are going to talk about why certain things should be legalized. And should we consider this? I forgot I lost the video. So, anyhow, you know, I'll play something lighthearted and funny real fast just because maybe that's a good idea. So let's play something funny real fast while I have to respond to a comment, or I actually do also have to respond to my email too for my professor in school too. So I'm going to play something lighthearted and funny real fast, and then we'll get back on topic. So this is a small break. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a small break while I have to answer one of my professors from school, and I have to respond to someone that is trying to find this channel. So we're going to play a small video clip. Funniest animals. Just something lighthearted to give you guys something to look at. While I have to respond to my professor because I am currently in school and I do have some things I need to do. So we're going to watch this real fast and then get back on topic.
Watch these royal jesters rule the comedy village like true kings. Cross the road without paying the toll, and this is what happens.
Доставай, сейчас. Давай, доставай. Сейчас, мой хороший, сейчас. Подожди, я меня... Ой, меня... Так. Не кричите, они не больно клюют.
Clearly, no intruder can roam free when he's around.
Okay, thank you for hanging with me while we had to take that break. I apologize for that. All right, so I do kind of feel like certain substances should be legalized, and also the aspect of taking away the need for throwing people in prison and looking at treatment. Because on the black market or when it's underground, yes, it's going to be harder to legalize. And it's actually going to be harder to treat. People go to prison and they don't get off of substances typically. They don't get clean. Typically, it's a place where they end up in the throes of more addiction. So I don't feel like throwing people in prison is the answer when prisons are already overcrowded. So I feel like legalizing, taking away the black market and making it so things can be, watched and regulated, I do feel like that is something to be looked at. Sorry guys, I'm still dealing with a cold. So I think that when we're looking at things like cannabis or mushrooms, and now I'm not talking that we should be legalizing more, like harder substances. Okay, I'm specifying. My professor wanted me to email them something, so that's something I had to kind of do. All right, so this is something that I feel like. So here's also the science of science of cannabis and mental health. Okay, and being as I am a big advocate for mental health, cannabis interacts with the endocannabinoid system, a regulatory network in the brain and body that helps maintenance balance and mood, stress response, sleep, memory, and emotional regulation. The system plays a critical role in how we experience anxiety, trauma, and depression. Research has shown that certain cannabinoids, particularly CBD, and carefully dosed THC can reduce anxiety. I also speak for myself because I do suffer anxiety. I suffer PTSD. And I'll tell you one thing. I have tried many different medications that are pretty heavy. I have been offered things like some benzos for, mental health. And I've kind of refused some of those just because I don't want it to mask the issue. I want to deal with the issue in therapy and things like that. And I kind of feel like that's where some of this lies. I think that if people understood that most don't want to just use it to get on and abuse it and be stupid, which you're always going to have the bad apples, there are also medical reasons to use this stuff. So it's just kind of something I feel strongly about. All right, so now that I covered that, leave a comment on how you feel. It's okay to disagree with one another, but let's remain respectful. All right. Thank you. I will see you guys some other time.